that, it will be followed by 4 presenters, yeah, on the logistics and supply chain area. Before I give the stage to Prof. Yudi, I would like to just give a brief summary on Prof. Yudi. Welcome, Prof. Yudi, to this conference. Prof. Yudi is an associate professor at University of Malaysia, Pahang. Prof. Yudi is also the editor-in-chief of the Industrial Management Journal and the managing editor of Governance and Integrity Journal. Prof. Yudi research interest is in the area of supply chain, circular economy, and the blockchain technology. Prof. Yudi now is the lecturer in the University of Malaysia at Pahang. He has written many papers, which I think you all can find easily in the international journal. So Prof. Yudi will discuss on the engineering design and blockchain technology for sustainable industry. Prof. Yudi has 30 minutes, but please use the 20 minutes or 22 minutes for the speak, and then after that we continue for the discussion. So the stage is yours, Prof. Yudi.
Right, thank you, Pak Win, for very nice introductions. Thank you so much for the time. Let me get my PowerPoint first, and we ready for what's I call it for our conference.
Okay, so while Prof. Yudi is preparing the materials for the participants, please later if you have a question, please write in the chat area, yeah, as usual.
Okay, here. All right, can you see my slide?
Yes, yes, I can see that.
All right,
Prof.
all right. Again, thank you to Pak Win Scarcity, and thank you to the committee for the invitations. My name is Yudi, and today I would like to share with you what currently we are doing, and based on our research. Some informations in my PowerPoint slide is quite confidential, because currently under review of some of the journal, and we are looking and waiting for the final decisions. So basically what I want to share with you now, the new paradigm for industrial engineers, for the logistics and supply chain specialists, especially to look at the way of thinking, the way of practicing something. And nowadays, as you can see that our limited resource, yeah, and technology drive the company to think out of the box, yeah, how to use let's say end of product, yeah, and life of product, and they try to recycle it again to become a value-added product. And however, some company might has big challenge, yeah, because the hackers, all the cyber crime and so on, they can easily manipulate the data. And in overseas nowadays, US, Canada, yeah, Europe, they are looking forward to see the new movement. They call it carbon footprint report, or some people call it the carbon accounting, and so on and so forth. So by look at this, we have a productivity war. If you notice that US complained many times, and they say that American cannot accept the China product, for example, like Huawei, now WeChat, and so on and so forth. They kind of an embargo. Yeah? So if you like Huawei so much, so you're unable to install Google anymore in your phone, and definitely that's really a big challenge for you, and nobody wants going to use it anymore. Some people in China still can use it because their own environment, but outside the country, people don't want to use it. So if you look at the productivity war, you can see that and notice that China is a really, a big giant. It's a very difficult to challenge the China. And if you notice our country, Indonesia over there, yeah, they are number top 10s, yeah, in the biggest economy. It's not because of their contribution, because they are big market, yeah. So means that everyone can enter the Indonesia because the number of population. But at the same time, we look at the superpower. Indonesia is not there. The superpower is still maintained as a China and followed by United States. So now United States is really so much with China because the China ability to overtook the market as well as they're leading in technology. Yeah, but let me compare innovation and energy consumptions. So still, you know, the European country like Germany, they are most, you know, innovative economy in the world. So means that they come up with a new design, they come up with a new technology, they come up with the way of thinking and so on and so forth. If you notice, the Industrial Revolution 4.0 is come from mouth of Germans people. Yeah. So if you want to learn engineering, it's the best place you go to Germany. I think I think you are quite lucky. Yeah, you learn in SGU, and in our university also we have a partnership with Germany University. But again, for energy consumptions, look at who are the most, you know, consumable country, and definitely it's a low income country. If we come back to my previous slide, means that our GDP lot and our consumption also a lot. When you go down, lower income country, lower middle income country, and higher income country is definitely now, you know, reduce their energy consumption for not sustainable source. Yeah, now the Germany as the innovative country, they also the best, yeah, recycle rate in the world. So means that they try to reduce the waste and they transform the waste to become a value-added product. And if you look at that, American now, they are keen enough to send their rubbish to us. Yeah, so they send the plastic, what I call that, the plastic kind of, you know, unuseful product to us. Yeah, you can look at that. Previously China, then after that now Malaysia, Thailand, and Vietnam also kind enough to accept the rubbish from China. So it means that many countries nowadays try to get the rubbish and recycle it. And now the economists say the power now been changed tremendously, and it has been predicted that Asia country will be lead in the economic power. Because why? We have a lot of people. We thought that we are rich enough with the natural resources and so on and so forth, and we might sustain for the long term. So it been forecasted that Asia will overtake, yeah, other countries or the rest of the world. And look at people, when we compare to the Southeast Asia, yeah, because of this current pandemic attack in our country and the world as well. And it seems like Indonesia, Malaysia, and Thailand has, you know, have a kind of a big issue on recovery. Yeah. And because of the business industry nowadays, and people don't care much on environments, yeah. And India now, they already announced that water for them is really hard to get. So it's a water scarcity. Why is this happen? And we noticed that some Pakistan, India, and perhaps some, you know, Southeast Asia countries, they claim themselves as the rich, natural-based country. They also challenged by prevalence of the hungers. There are, you know, quite a number of people who don't have food to eat. Yeah, and then depletion of natural resources, of course, because you already transform the what I call it, the lands, the paddy fields to become shopping complex, to become manufacturing plant, and so on and so forth. And we like or not, the number of population is getting higher and higher. And those people produce a lot of carbon footprint and pollutions. Motorbike, manufacturing plants, even your movement, yeah, even your movement. And the climate change, you can see that Saudi previously, the country that very famous with the hot, warm, and so on, but now raining and, you know, snow that also appears in the Saudi. The urbanization, people don't want to stay in the kind of village anymore. In remote area, in rural area, the people want to go to the capital city like Jakarta, Surabaya, and so on and so forth. So the urbanization also drive, you know, challenge to the country, to the industrial engineers to think differently. It's not like the previous one. And cybercrime, because the people well educated, cybercrime also another issue. Yeah, the people can easily use your ID and enter your online platform and so on. And not to forget, COVID-19. Every country in the world now struggles, yeah, to fight with the COVID-19, and this another pandemic series that unpredictable, and coming soon, the different type of COVID-19 will appear again and again until they found the vaccines. So industrial engineering have to really look at back the way how they do business. Yeah, some the pressure for industrial engineer descent, for example, like uncertain because of the virus. Yeah, because of what do you call that? Because of the pandemic, because of the virus, because of currency exchange, political instability. That's come forward, and industrial engineers have to look at this. It's not only thinking technical part, but also some circumstances. And the customer preference, we have to put the customer in the center of our business strategy or product design. It's not only what we thought that is the best, but we have to survey, we have to understand the customer and look at what they really need. And we have to reduce the cost. Yeah, we have to find a way to reduce the cost and to manage our limited resources. Technology is coming soon. Yeah, new technology is coming soon. Blockchain technology, artificial intelligence. So everyone will get used with the industrial revolution 4.0, where manpower can be replaced by automation for the certain industries. And not to forget is globalization. We cannot stay alone. Yeah, we need to work network with other people in the world to make it the impact is bigger. And example that how the industrial engineers design their product nowadays, like Adidas Pelly. Yeah, Adidas Pelly is a what I call that is non-profit organizations. They have initiative for oceans, kind of clean oceans. Yeah, so they partner since 2015, and the idea is how to use the plastic bottles that you drink, yeah, for your mineral water. They recycle it, become shoes, raw material for the suits, what I call running shoes. Yeah, so if you can see that now the price is getting cheaper, only 180. When we compare with the conventional running shoes, it could be 250 until 700 US dollar. Yeah, but now they can reduce it so much. This is one example of how they redesign again their engineering thinking. And as the competitor, Nike, they call it their product as the Fly Leather. Fly Leather, they claims that they use less water, 90%, they can reduce the water. And they also claim that 40% is lighter. So what is actually the Fly Leather? Fly Leather actually unused material from the core leathers, yeah, and they remanufacture again to become synthetic leathers, yeah. So they call it as a Fly Leathers. So 80% is lower carbon footprint, more durable, and can be recycled again. And if you can see, is this product is a more cheaper, yeah, because when we compare with Adidas work together with Continental. Yeah, you know that if you use the tire for your I think car, you use the Continental rubber. So that's why the price is higher. Compare with the Nike alone, the price is 80. Yeah, so you can use it for to school, you can go for the tennis and so on. What we just now discussed and what we already highlighted to you is the part of the circular economy. What is a circular economy? Circular economy means that you try to reduce so much as possible to make it no waste at all. So no rubbish at all. So means that reduce as much as possible without rubbish, without waste. Yeah. And in the past, the industrial engineers, they've been taught that linear economy. So it means that they produce something, design, produce, but there is waste. And the recycle economy, that's the difference. They try to manage 3R, 5R, and so on and so forth. Yeah. So they create the good and service in sustainable manner, and also they design the long lifespan of the product. So means that you can use it for more years to come. Yeah, and it's a part of the closing the rules law as well. And they try to recycle, remanufacture again the unused raw material to become a value-added product. You know, people now they transform the energy, water, and this is a new kind of industry that can create wealth and job creations. Well to the country, well to you guys who working in this industry, because before people never look at this. People only think that our natural resources are rich enough. But if you notice that depletion is going down from time to time, and of course the quality of life. So the circular economy concept is a come from reverse logistic and closed loop supply chains. That's I think some of you already learned about it. When we look at that forward supply chain, you notice that from upstream to downstream. While for the CE concept, they come from upstream to downstream. So they get the raw material, end life raw material, or non-value added product or material, or leftover material. They recycle it again and become a final product. Yeah, so the product, replacement, recycle, reuse, maintenance, and so on. So the circular economy principle, you have to reduce consumptions and the waste. That's the first principle. Second, you have to reduce the pollutions, and definitely this the carbon footprint, carbon emission. And you have to prevent resource depletions. And of course, if you still have the scrap, you still have a waste in your manufacturing plant, in your company, means that you are able to utilize the concept of circular economy. Yeah, so that is 6R that you can see it: recycle, rethink, reuse, reduce, reuse, and repair. Yeah, so this is a problem. Yeah, in the manufacturing company, when we observe manufacturing company, they still notice so many scraps, so many what I call that default product or defects product. Yeah, sorry, it's defect product. They come back again because the customer complained. So a lot of costs they have to bear. For example, rework, containments, feedback from a customer. Now the biggest challenge that you can notice is they can viral it, your product. So the people don't want to buy anymore because the product is similar with the inequality product. And what I would like to tell you about the manufacturing model nowadays that we already observe from our research, yeah, and working together with the company, we noticed that the way of what we do in manufacturing now different compared than the last 10 years and 20 years, where the idea here to reduce your carbon footprint. So the idea here, for example, like if you get the leftover material, you get the return product, or you get the scrap, and you have to disassembling the components, and after that you clean and recovery or restoring, replace the essential core. You use it again, then you recycle. But definitely you might need to have a transport, storage, and inventory management system. It's like how do we manage our normal supply chain or conventional supply chain. And every movement that you do in doing your remanufacturing activities should be counted in a report, so call it energy usage or carbon emissions. So the typical of the human being, they like to manipulate the data. Yeah, they manipulate the data, they manipulate the report, and seems like they don't have carbon emission. That happened to Honda and last time also Nissan. Yeah, and I think the Volkswagen as well. They try to manipulate. They say that the carbon emission is very low. But in fact, this been part of the manipulated data. So we need something, the platform who really useful. Yeah. So the future in the industrial engineering, we have to well understand the concept or redesign of manufacturing concepts. So you not only use the non-renewable material or energy, but also you have to able to understand renewable energy itself. And some of industrial engineers need to understand ISO 5001. Previously, only you understand ISO 14001 or ISO 9001. But now move forwards because the countries already signed agreements. For example, like Malaysia, they wanted to reduce 40% of carbon emission in 2020. Seems like we are not able to complete it. Yeah, so we need to replan it again. And to report it, we need the integrity platform, yeah, and to report our carbon footprint and carbon emissions in one technology, so called it the blockchain technology. So the question is now, what is the blockchain technology? Blockchain technology is a cryptographical secure. So it's like ledger. So everyone can report, everyone can see it, the movements of the report itself. Nobody one can manipulate. You don't need the bank anymore. You don't need the lawyer anymore to sign the agreement. So everyone is open. They are visible, they are accurate, transparent, and secure. And this good, and nobody one can hacks, yeah. And you can also track all your activities. So everyone connected each other under your supply chain. Yeah, as long as you have together in the supply chain, and then you able to get access on that. So blockchain technology is high security, cannot be hacked again, and you can support the integration of energy production, utilization, transformation, and storage. And every carbon activity, carbon trading cannot be tracked. Yeah. And no data can be manipulated. So again, industry cannot work alone. So they need the governments to create a good regulation pro to industry and pro to the customer as well. And user, they want the product quality with lower price, and definitely is a kind of friendly product. And people, the future demand for the product is every manufacturing company have to report their carbon footprint in their product. So how many carbon footprint they already consume, they have to report in the product. Are we ready for that? Yeah, UK, US, they already have this. I think Korea, Japan, they already come up with this idea. So we are moving to that direction. I'm almost in the end of my presentations. What I wanted to highlight here, first, we have to relook again, yeah, our layout, our production system, our techniques, our paradigm to doing business. We need to comply with the low carbon emissions. We have to comply with the greenhouse carbon emissions. Yeah, and then again, you have to be correct and you have to be quick. Yeah, so no rework, no defects. I think we learned it many times in our class. Then you have to be fast to the market. So see last time the iPhone overtook by Samsung. Yeah, so they make it, the Samsung become a champion because they come out with the new features and introduce in the market. And after that, your customers is is the source of your inspirations, and use it, the idea, get the feedback from them. And definitely you have to upskill your technology. If you think that now the technology that you use is not up to the standard, you have to learn the new things. Yeah, and you like or not, the small lab become enemy, become competitors for the big giant company. Yeah, so they become a startup. They produce something that people have to buy it. For example, like blockchain technology that we produce for the new product development, for carbon reporting, and so on and so forth. And bear in mind, the cyber attack or the cyber crime can also appear anytime. Yeah, and everyone notice about pandemic nowadays. Yeah, natural disaster, earthquake, yeah, what I call that, others, rain, yeah, and floods might happen anytime, yeah, and also the globalization. So that's all, I guess. I'm in time to present my my topic. I hand over to Pak Win. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Yudi. Your presentation will be, I think, very interested to many people here. Very good, inspiring many, I think, many practitioners. So please welcome to all participants. If you would like to ask, you can write in the chat. Yeah, you can write in the chat area. This blockchain technology is something very interesting. Okay. Okay, while waiting for the questions from participants, I would like to ask Pak I cannot resist to ask because this is very interesting.
Thank you.
You said that blockchain technology can be used within the supply chain area, all the elements of the supply chain, especially to input the carbon emission and carbon footprint. Yeah, and is it possible, Pak, that this kind of effort will increase the product, the final product of the supply chain loop?
Yes, yes. For example, this is a blockchain technology that currently ready to be used and already, adopted by the industry. So we produce the halal, halal recognized blockchain technology. So in Malaysia, a lot of product should be labeled with halal, and but some end user or consumers, they are questioning what the ingredient actually. So they use the blockchain technology to trace back. So in the blockchain technology, there are suppliers, there are manufacturers, there are, the policy makers or the governments, the vendors, the transporter, third-party logistics, seven-party logistics, and so on and so forth. So every transaction, every activities that can be seen, so nobody one can manipulate anymore. So definitely you can produce the better quality product or trusted product. So the customer no need to worry anymore. They can use their QR code to scan. How does this product, process? For example, like I think Netherlands product, or dairies product in Netherlands. So is they produce the milk in the tins, So you can scan the hologram or QR code, then you can see the process itself. That happened later on with our product, blockchain for carbon emissions. So everyone who produce the activities, for example, like storage, how much they consume the energy, how much, the carbon footprint that they produce. So every activity can be counted. But the issue now, the data become complex. Can you imagine that manufacturing company, they are working 24 hours. They have a different unit, they have a different, a type of productions, machineries, and so on and so forth. So this has become a big issue. Nobody one think this can be solved. So we from the university and labs, we have to think out of the box a little bit. It's a hard, but it's a good movement. So in the future, our end user, our customers can buy the product which is low carbon footprint, the very cheapest price. That can make our company more competitive compared than other competitors in the market. And you like or not, in the future, this will become mandatory. It's like halal logo. It's like halal logo, but now they change to become footprint logo. So if you don't have this, the headquarter don't want to buy your product. You as a vendor Indonesia, you reassembling the product, but if you don't have this report, they don't want to accept you anymore. They will go to Vietnam, they will go to Thailand or Malaysia, which is ready, with this kind of technology. So the answer, yes, Pak Win.
Okay, that is a challenge for the newcomers. We have to comply with the requirements later. Okay, there is a question from Pak Sutikno here. Good morning, Prof. Yudi. I'm Jehosapat Sutikno from SGU. Regarding the conversation, regarding the conservation of the environment, how do we ensure that the larger superpowers also comply with the shift towards more sustainable technology? As we know, China shows no signs of stopping their track in carbon emissions, etc. But basically, that is the question, Prof. Yudi.
Thank you. Thank you, Pak Win, and thank you also Pak Sutikno for the question. Yes, this is another challenge. I think everyone now have to follow the regulation. You like or not, China now is the one contributors for the science engineering papers that they produce a lot of methods, or they produce a lot of new ideas, new product, new method, new system to reduce the carbon emission and also the environmental friendly techniques, yeah, become a product. So means now China overtook US and other country as well. So in China nowadays, because the pollution is quite high in China, so the government now encourage the scientists, the engineers to look at how they can reduce so much, carbon emission. I'm not sure, but in the future, the China will transfer a lot of the heavy manufacturing sites to other country too. You can see that in Africa nowadays, yeah, is a new what I call that is like new colonialisms, yeah, where they lend money to Africa, and then Africa seems like, I think, hard to pay it. So the China maybe will open the plant over there and use their resource, as well as Africa will produce more carbon emission. It's like happen like US, Europe. Yeah, if you went to Europe or Japan, yeah, their country is very nice. Yeah, less carbon emission, less motorbike, less car, and so on and so forth. But for us, we really want to have a job. We want to have a direct investment. So that's why we welcome them. So the manufacturing now in our countries, in other neighboring countries as well. In Malaysia now, they start to reduce, and many the manufacturing company already moved to Vietnam. So the question here, China slowly and in silently, they do better than other countries. So you can see that the movements, they don't want to tell you the much, but if you notice, the publication, paper, research, the patents, the methods, copyright, hold by China scientists a lot, and they now already, they are already everywhere in US, in Europe. Many Chinese born professor lead the overseas leading universities. So the answer, Pak Sutikno, yes, the biggest company, the superpower, they have to follow. Otherwise, the public won't buy from them anymore. Like in Europe, the awareness is very high. Yeah, so the people don't want to support those who do not comply with the government regulation, do not comply with the environmental based regulations. People want to have a quality of life. So my answer to Pak Sutikno. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Yudi, and thank you, Pak Stino. I think the answer is quite convincing. The challenge is that maybe there must be a global police like the United Nations to oversee the overall implementation, yeah, Prof. Yudi.
Yeah, I think the United Nations under what I call that, their wings to manage the world, and they call it as a Kyoto Protocol. Yeah, so everyone come and join. That's a Congress. So every country need to sign their commitment. For example, like Malaysia, they want to reduce 40%. So it means that the government of Malaysia encourage their manufacturing sector, their transportation sector to reduce and cut their carbon emission. So the company now have to think their way. For example, like carbon accounting. I think if you notice that there is one term they call it carbon accounting. So for example, like they give you a quota or allocation. A big company, let's say like Toyota, I give you, let's say 1,000, 1,000 allocation. While the small company, let's say like vendor, they produce, for example, like mirror or mirror to the Toyota, and then they give the emissions, the allocation about 200. Definitely 1,000 is not enough for Toyota. They produce more pollutions, right? So because not enough, they might need to buy or they purchase from the small company. So to the end, this become, everyone responsibility to reduce their pollution and carbon emissions. So we have to responsible with whatever we do. So the big company, yes, they have to comply. They have to able to understand and to do it. The question is now, how many companies who really understand how to comply with 5,000 watt? In Malaysia itself, only less than 15% all overall manufacturing industry able to comply out of the 3,500 company registered under Federation of Malaysian Manufacturing. So now we have to educate, we have to promote this kind of movements because the university or research institute, they have to be leading, to educate, to train the industry people. They have to work, hand to hand. So I believe that is a promising new area that we have to look at this.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Yudi. This topic is very interesting and the delivery is really excellent. But we have to complete the session because the time is up, unfortunately. Thank you very much, Prof. Yudi, for the delivery of the very interesting topic today. We can see you later on the next event. Thank you, Prof. Yudi.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Now